Come on in, pull up a chair, and take a load off because today I'll be sharing a bit of how to play as well as my review of Sheepy Time from AEG. Is this fast-paced push-your-luck racing game deserving of a spot in your collection? Or will you find playing Sheepy Time simply just puts you to sleep? Well, you're going to find out right after this. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. We're kicking off the Gaming Gang Spring Fling with this video. That's right, all through the month of June, each and every day, you'll find a brand new review at thegaminggang.com. Today, I am going to be sharing a bit of how to play as well as my review for Sheepy Time from AEG. It's designed by Neil Kimball with artwork provided by Zoe Plain. The game is for 1 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, plays in around 30 to 45 minutes, and does carry an MSRP of $39.99. This has just arrived in stores, so it is available right now. Swing on over to the other camera because I've got Sheepy Time kind of laid out here. It's kind of squeezed in because of space limitations, and I did want you to be able to make out the writing on these tiles and the cards, so I'm zoomed in a little bit. But before I dive in, I do want to point out that the fine folks over at AEG were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share my thoughts about this game with you. It's very important that you know that. That said, first off, let's talk about the rules. Rule book is okay. I wouldn't say that this is the most intuitive rule book that I have seen AEG put out, but we were able to figure out how to play. There were a couple of spots in here where it's kind of like, wait a second, what? Hang on. Let me take a look here. Wait, what? Let me double check that again. All right. So there are some solo rules in here. There are nightmares that are actually chasing your dream sheep in the game as well. There are 3 different nightmares, so that adds some variety. Also, there are actually 30, I believe it's 30 of these tiles. So these are going to change every game as well. As you can see, there's a big stack of them here that you will actually draw from as you place them on the board. So in essence, each of the players is one of the dream sheep that people tend to count when they're trying to fall asleep. And you're trying to race around this board, and you're looking to score winks. So there are Z's and there are winks in this game, and it's important for you to understand the difference between the two, and I'll talk about those in just a moment. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to actually be drawing from this deck. So essentially, it's pretty simple. You're going to draw a card, you're going to play a card. You're going to start off with 2 cards in your hand. You're going to play one of them. You're going to resolve what happens. If you land on one of these dream tiles, you might be able to activate that. I'll talk about how you do that as well. And then you simply draw another card. And you can decide if you're going to continue playing if you've jumped over this fence, or you're going to continue on. And as I mentioned, there's a push your luck element to this because you've got this nightmare. And this nightmare is going to come along because the nightmare has cards in this deck as well. I don't have them in the deck right this moment because I'm going to show you the different cards from this is the Nightmare Wolf, which is the easiest of the nightmares that you have to deal with. So what you're going to be looking to do is you're looking to score these winks. And your master plan is to be able to land on or move beyond your pillow. So your pillows are going to start at 40. You're going to begin each of the rounds at 0 winks. And then as you progress through the rounds, the better you do in your rounds, the easier it's going to be for you to win the game, because your pillow is going to gradually move down this track, making it easier for you to pass it by. There are different scoring criteria depending on the number of players. I have this set up as if we're playing a 4-player game. A couple of things before I really kind of talk about, the actual gameplay. Component quality is nice. Some people will really dig the artwork. Some people will be indifferent to the artwork. Some people will hate the artwork, I gotta say. I thought it was fine. One thing that I can guarantee is people are going to see the box. They see the box cover. They see this artwork. They're like, oh, it's a kid's game, right? No, not really. There is a little bit of crunch to this game. So this is not a game that you're going to play with really small kids. That said, it's not, a brain burner by any stretch of the imagination either. The cards are nice quality. They are not a linen finish, but decent card stock. Of course, if you find yourself playing Sheepy Time quite a bit, I do recommend sleeving your cards. But the card stock is nice and thick. We've got these kind of funny little sheep tokens here that we stand up when we play, unless they get scared, which is what the nightmare will do to them. Then they get knocked on their sides. And if they're scared a second time, they wake up and they actually lose all their progress, essentially. All right. Another aspect of the game that might be a problem for some folks is the font. And I didn't have a huge problem with this, but my niece, Madison, did, especially when things were upside down. And I can see that being a problem and the font is on these tiles as well as on the cards. So I don't know. I got to be honest. I don't know why AEG didn't catch this, because it really will cut into the enjoyment that some people will have. Now, like I said, I really didn't have an issue with it, but I have played games where, there's a layout on the table and there's stuff that you're supposed to be able to read, and I can't read it. So I'm constantly having to ask the other players, what is that again? What does that do over there? And it really makes it difficult for you to try to come up with a strategy when you're spending a lot of time trying to figure out what the hell does this stuff say. So I can see where it could be irritating for some people. Do you want to mention that? So anyway, so we got the deck of cards. We also have the nightmare. And as I mentioned, we've got 3 different nightmares that we can add into the mix. Their decks get shuffled in with these. So what you're going to do is you're going to start off with 2 cards in your hand. You essentially are going to play one of the 2 cards, and then you're going to draw another card. Now, of course, if it's a nightmare card that you draw, you actually will play that card. You immediately play any nightmare cards that come up, and whatever the effect or whatever it's doing is what you have to perform. But let's just say, to begin with, I've got either move 6 spaces or gain 3 winks, or I can move 4 spaces and catch 1 Z. So, as I mentioned, the winks are here. So if I wanted to, I could just automatically get 3 winks, but I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to be sitting right here. Or I can move 6 spaces. I have to be honest, I would maybe decide, okay, so I want those winks. Say, okay, I'll take 3 winks. I discard that card, draw a new card. Then it's the next player. And let's say the next player got, let's say they got to there. Okay, cool. And then we have the next player, and the next player gets all the way to here. And then we got another player going over here. Now you'll notice we've got these tiles, which give us special abilities. But not everybody is going to be able to use these tiles for a special ability. So what happens is, once you get past the fence, you can choose if you're going to call it a night. So effectively, you're gonna stop your scoring, but you're going to stay where you're at. Or you can continue on and continue to push your luck. Essentially, you're still just going to be playing a card each turn. But people will be kind of sitting there going, well, I got a good amount of points here. I don't want to get scared by this nightmare and then end up waking up and losing all of it. So there is where that push your luck element comes into play. So let's say, as an example, somebody ended up getting a nightmare card. So the nightmare is going to start out right there in the middle of the board. So it says move the nightmare 2 spaces. So I put the nightmare here. If the nightmare ever passes through your space or ends up in your space, you're scared and you get knocked down. If you get scared a second time while you're scared, then you wake up and all your progress here, let's say, they're all the way up to 16. They woke up. They're going to go back to 0 for that round. So essentially what you're going to continue to do is you're going to be playing cards, jumping along, racing around the board until everybody has either decided to call it a night. You can only call it a night after you jump over the fence. If I ended up here and said, okay, I'm not going to call it a night, that means I've got to go all the way back around before I get another opportunity to call it a night. So as an example, let's say that the next card coming out was the nightmare moves 1 space. So the nightmare would move there. The pink player is scared. And then if they get scared again, if this somehow moves around again and gets them while they're scared, that's when they wake up. So we've got these tiles. And what will happen is at the end of the round, everybody's going to get to rest. So basically we have a racing phase, which is what I'm talking about here. And then we have a rest phase. So when you rest, you have 2 options. You can either select one of these 4 tiles that are available in the market and place it anywhere you want, except for where there's already a tile. Or you can catch 2 Z's and place those 2 Z's on any tile that's already out here. So as an example here, the moonwalk allows you, if you land on this spot, you would gain 2 winks, but then move back 2. You can never go backwards over the fence. That is one of the rules, that moving backwards, you can't break. You can't go back over the fence. Because remember, every time you jump over this, you're gaining 5 winks. So I could sit there and say, well, that takes an infinite Z because there's a little icon here. So if I choose to drop that off there, that means if I land on here, I can always use this. If I decided I wanted to put my winks over on Racing Rivals, since this has a number on it, that means whenever I would land on this space, I take a wink back to act. I shouldn't say wink, Z. See what I mean? The Z's and the winks confuse people. It's easy to mix them up. So I would take a Z back and activate this. If I did not have any Z's on this, I can't use that tile. Now, if you decide you're going to add the tile, let's say for an example, we add double Dutch where it says play the other card from your hand. It shows the number 3. Because I'm placing it, I get to put 3 Z's there. And then if it was like another player coming after me, they could decide, well, you know what? I like that. That's a pretty cool tile. I'm not going to place a tile. I'm going to put a couple of Z's on that. And of course, once you draw, I should say, once you take one of these, you place one of these, you're going to draw a new one and replace it. So you always have 4 of these in the market. So what's going to happen is once everybody is either woken up or called it a night, you're going to score the round. So as an example, let's just say, oh, that's being awfully generous. Let's try doing this. Yeah, let's say the pink player ended up getting scared twice, so they woke up. So what you would do is you'd look at, okay, so who's in first? Well, I'm in first place here. That means I'm going to move my pillow 10. So now to win on the next round, I have to hit 30 or more. Then we've got second place would be 8. So they go to 32. Third place is 6. So that is, I should say, yeah, third place is 6. So that's going to go here. And if you got woken up, it's only 3. Like so. When you go to your next round, or next turn, I guess we would say, whoever has the highest number as far as a pillow becomes the first sheep. They become the first player, and then you will go in clockwise position from there. And you're just going to continue playing until eventually someone reaches their pillow or moves beyond it, and that will end the game. So what will happen here, well, everybody's going to get an opportunity to go around to finish up. So if there were somehow 2 players that passed their pillows in the same round, the winner ends up being the person who's the furthest past it. And that, in essence, is how you play Sheepy Time. So let's swing on over to the other camera because I'll share my final thoughts and provide a review score. I like the game. I think it's an interesting game. The rules aren't as intuitive as they could have been. It took us a little bit of time to kind of figure out. And like I said, the Z's and the winks throw everybody off, right? So like I said, oh yeah, so I take this wink back. I mean Z back. The weird thing about this game is I think the audience that this is actually geared towards are probably going to not notice this game because of the art. As I mentioned before, the presentation and the art style of it makes this look like this is a kid's game, but it's not a kid's game. It's an all ages game, don't get me wrong, but there's some wrinkles to it that, especially when you've got the different tiles, You land on the tile, you activate that tile, you get to take advantage of that bonus that tile gives you. You could be zipping around the board, landing on all these different tiles, and you have to track all that. So I would say the game has a little more meat on the bone than you would be led to believe by taking a look at the art style. Once again, some people are going to really dislike the art. Somebody at our table really did not like the art. Like I said, I thought it was fine. It didn't bother me. This isn't supposed to be some like super serious simulation or something. So the artwork really didn't throw me at all. I do like the game. I would not say it is in a league with some of the most recent hit AEG games that are out there. So all in all, I do recommend it. I don't think it's going to be everybody's cup of tea by any stretch of the imagination. I think some people, once again, I can't get over it. I mean, I think some people who this would really enjoy this game, and I do enjoy it. I think it's a fun game. Everybody at the table, everybody in the gang liked it. But I think the people it's really geared towards may not even give it a second thought unless they see a review, right? So, all right. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give this an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I like it. There's a lot of variety to it. There's replayability because you've got all the various different dream tiles. You've got the 3 different nightmares of varying difficulty, or I guess maybe I would say they ratchet up the pressure a little bit, each one. So we've got a sinister spider, and we've got a bump in the night. And the bump in the night is actually the toughest of the bunch. So yeah, so all in all, like I said, I definitely do recommend Sheepy Time. I think a vast majority of the gamers out there will get a kick out of it. All right, that is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. Because not only will it let you know when I upload new videos, such as this review, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Monday through Thursdays right here on YouTube as I bring you the latest in tabletop gaming news and a first look at tabletop games. So each and every episode, I take a look at a board game, role-playing game, miniatures, rule system, what have you. If it's going on the tabletop, I am taking a peek at it. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you so much for taking time out to watch the video. And until I see you next time, good gaming. Oh, you're still here. Well, while you're kicking it, how about subscribing to the Gaming Gang channel? Or seeing the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch? Or finding out what YouTube recommends you check out here at my channel? And of course, don't forget, get your geek on at thegaminggang.com.